Hi, I'm Rory from Powerballs.com, and today I want to give you a quick tutorial on how to start your Powerspin. Powerspin is a pretty straightforward device. It's a round ball spinning around inside an round tube, and yet from time to time we'll receive returns from customers or emails from customers saying that my Powerspin is broken, that I didn't manage to get the round ball to rotate around inside and around tube. And the truth of the matter is, unless there's something inside in the tube blocking the round ball from spinning around the round tube, it's actually a coordination issue, or just basically a starting technique that needs to be learned by our customer. So it's actually very simple. It's like riding a bicycle, I guess. Once you get it once, you'll get it the whole time. It's just about dialing in that sort of technique that's required to get the ball to spin smoothly inside in the tube. So I don't want to make this a long video, so let's make it short and sweet. Some of the tips that we can actually give you to show you how to actually easily get that ball spinning is, the first one is this. Just take your Powerspin. Some of the exercises, as I say, require that you grab your Powerspin by the center handle. Some require that you grab your Powerspin by the tube. In this case, if you're doing an exercise where you're meant to hold the Powerspin like that, I want you to imagine that you're hammering a nail. You got a hammer in your hand and you're just hammering a nail. Okay, there's two actions you can do. You can either saw, which is wrong. We don't want you doing that. We want you hammering a nail with your hammer, basically. So watch this. It's very, very simple. You got the hammer in your hand, you're beating that nail in. You can see at the start, the ball is sort of doesn't know whether to go forward or backwards, but it'll actually be forced into taking one of those directions by just you hammering that nail. And once you get the ball spinning, refine your movements so that it all becomes nice and smooth and non-jerky. Because if you're actually jerking your arm around, the ball might stop halfway and you'll think your Powerspin is faulty when it's not. It's all about just nice, smooth, very little movement of the arm, by the way, because your arm is an extension, it's like a lever, so it doesn't require that much movement of the arm to actually get that ball rotating once it starts moving. Just get the hammer again, you're about to beat that nail in, and once it starts, you can just relax. Very little movement. You can see there isn't very much movement. This is a small little pulsing of the arm, so to speak, because as I say, it's extended away from your actual elbow where the work is being done. This is working your biceps and your triceps. But again, get the hammer. And by the way, if the ball ideally should be going clockwise, but if it happens to end up going anti-clockwise, it doesn't matter, because you're engaging both the bicep and the tricep with this movement. It's a sort of a pulsing movement, so you're using both the sort of the flexor and the extensor, so to speak. You're actually, bicep, tricep is causing the arm to move and keeps the ball rotating. Every exercise with your Powerspin should ideally be 60 seconds, no less. 10, 20 seconds, okay. 60 seconds is the ideal, because you'll actually exhaust your muscle depending on the speed that you do it with. The first 30 seconds should be at a nice, relaxed, moderate pace. The next 20 seconds, we'll say the first 30 seconds should be at, we'll say, 70% or 75% of your maximum effort. The next 20 seconds should be at 80-85% of your maximum effort, and you should reserve the last 10 seconds for 95% or almost an all-out intensity, where you're really pushing hard at, without losing your form, of course, because you don't want the ball stopping. But as you actually, it's like that bicycle analogy. Once you actually get the bicycle, the skill required to ride the bicycle, once, it'll be with you all the time. So first 30 seconds, nice moderate effort. Next 20 seconds, 85% max, and those last 10 seconds where you really get better, all out. a flat out effort. So that's the sort of the hammering technique, that you grab the Powerspin by the outer edge of the tube. You got a hammer, and as you can see, there's relatively little movement of Powerspin. It's not as it's going up and down like this. It's a question of, you have your hammer and you don't move your arm and your hand around when you're actually hammering a nail. The hammer stays in the same place, otherwise you're going to hit the wall. Same with this. If you use that analogy, visualize that nail in front of you, and that's it. The ball will start rotating and you're in business. And do it for 60 seconds. The second tip is where you're actually using Powerspin when it's grabbed with the center handle. Now, normally there's a few different exercise movements. Usually they'll start at the hip, but for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just going to show you what I recommend, sort of another visualization tip for actually how to get the ball spinning properly. So I have it raised in front of me at chest height. Just imagine that you have a marker or a pen in your hand there, just between your grasp between the fingers basically, and there's a sheet of paper underneath. So literally start drawing wide lazy circles with the pen on the paper. Now, by the way, this sounds a lot noisier than it would be because the microphone's right underneath there. It's picking up the sound of the ball rotating. It's not normally that loud. So again, whether you're doing this at hip height or whether you're doing it at chest height, it doesn't matter. You have a pen or a crayon or whatever in your hands and you have a sheet of paper directly underneath it. You're not doing that. We also sell a product called Powerball, and Powerball requires a steady arm and rotation of the wrist. Powerspin, on the other hand, requires locked wrist. The wrist should stay locked to the arm. There should be no up or down planar movement of the tube. It should be firmly restricted there, and all the work is done with the arm. So you have your pen between your fingers, sheet of paper underneath, and all you're doing is you're drawing a big lazy circle. Now you can see there's nothing happening here, and then suddenly the ball starts. So just literally practice wide, lazy, smooth, circular motions with the arm. Okay, it's not up, down, left or right. It's just literally you have your pen and suddenly there's the ball going around. And once it starts, as you can see, there's very little movement required. Very, very little movement because it's at an extended length of about 25 or 30 inches away from me. So very, very little movement required in the shoulder to keep that ball spinning. But the key is, you can see it, there's no movement of my wrist. It's all done by the arm. It's as if you're waxing a car or polishing a stain off the floor. It's all done by the arm, whether you want to bend it at the elbow or whether you want to use your rotator cuff, shoulder muscles to actually move the arm. The point is, you're drawing the big circle there again, nothing's happening, and all of a sudden the ball starts. And once it starts, it's very easy to keep it going. So there you go. Those are the two fundamental movements of how to get the ball rotating, the round ball in the round tube. It should be nice and smooth, and if it's jerky and stopping, just refine your technique a little bit, less sort of jerky action. It's just all about wide lazy circles, whether it's like that. You can see how easy it is. Because once you get it dialed in, once you get that technique, just like driving a car, once you learn how to shift the gear stick and the clutch and all of those things together, you don't have to think about it. Basically just a quick little flick and the ball starts spinning. It doesn't matter what way you do it, once you know how to do it, it's so easy to actually get that ball spinning. Because again, round ball spinning in round tube, the only reason it won't work is if there's something after climbing inside or something after getting stuck inside in the actual tube. It's impeding the ball's progress. And generally that doesn't happen. And if it does, by the way, you can see that we've designed the product. There's a little gap there. Some people actually have often contacted us and say, oh, my Powerspin is faulty, there's a gap, it's cracked. It's actually not. It's been designed that way so that you can get your fingers in. You unscrew the 2 little bolts in the handle, take the handle parts away, you're left with the tube, which is compressed together, and there's a little pin here in a receiving hole, and you just get your nails, or you get a flat blade of a screwdriver, and you just twist it and pop it. These are friction based, so that when you take them apart they won't break. When you put it back together, you just squeeze it with your hand, and it all clamps together and becomes nice and stiff and tight again. But that gap, by the way, again, just to repeat, it's not an actual flaw. It's a design thing designed so that it's easy for you to actually take this apart and clean it from time to time, because we give a lifetime warranty with these. There's nothing to go wrong. It's a rubber overmolded steel ball, a solid polycarbonate tube. Your Powerspin is designed to last you for forever, basically. And of course, if you drop it, it doesn't do it any good. But in general, the polycarbonate is quite flexible. It'll take an impact. Just opening it from time to time, maybe every 6 months, giving it a clean out, everything will be spot on again. If you have any questions, as always, visit powerballs.com. Send us an email. You'll get it there, info@powerballs.com or info@powerspin.com. The web address is on the tube here if you forget it. Drop us a line. Check YouTube as well, because we're actually in the process of uploading new workouts. It's a very, very engaging product and very efficient if it's used correctly. We recommend 1 minute per exercise, but it's not just a question of spinning lazily, it's a question of spinning as fast as you can at the end, a nice moderate pace at the first 30 seconds, and just mix it up. There are various different workout positions that you can actually do, exercising your chest, your shoulders, your arms. It's very diverse, very efficient. We hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.